So, you want to know how to master Lifeline? I'm going to be dropping all of my best tips and tricks after maining her for over 200 hours. Over this time, I've learned quite a few things about how to use her to her full potential. I've also noticed some playstyle changes you must make due to the fact that her kit lacks any mobility or disengage abilities. So first, let's talk about Lifeline's healing speed passive. You can use meds 25% faster. This gives you some freedom that other legends do not have. 25% isn't a huge amount, but it's enough that you can consistently heal right in the middle of battle. In my opinion, this is Lifeline's most powerful ability. Shield cells are the bread and butter here. If you want to be good at Lifeline, you need to learn how to use movement to create enough space so that you can heal up. You can quickly get 25 HP in the middle of combat without even breaking a sweat. I find that one of the easiest ways is to use verticality, for example, climbing on a building or a roof. This usually gives you enough time to heal up before a player spots you. Sometimes you can even be cheeky enough to heal just around the corner. It's a skill that should be mastered, because this is where Lifeline excels. Next, let's look at her drone. The worst thing you can do with Lifeline is sit in a corner with a drone, waiting for your health to heal up. The drone is very noisy and nearby players will hear it. It's actually quicker to just heal up with standard items than it is to use your drone. So once again, don't use your drone to heal in a bad situation, use meds. I would suggest using shield cells for quick health in tense situations, otherwise just pop a medkit or a shield battery. Obviously, you don't always have the opportunity to heal up. You may have run out of meds, for example. In this case, you should consider moving whilst healing. I'm sure most of you know that you can move the drone, but if you place it by aiming higher or using it whilst slightly in the air, you are able to essentially run with it still attached to you. It takes some practice, but with this, you are able to run away whilst healing. If you move left or right too much, you'll run off without the drone, so you can't really run out in the open because you'll be an easy target, but you can potentially run to a new location, around a corner, or just create enough distance to give you more time to heal. This is just a last resort though. When I play Lifeline, I always make sure I have as many shield cells as possible, and then some shield batteries, medkits, and even some syringes. You're guaranteed to get some syringes or shield cells from your airdrop. I get made fun of for carrying 18 to 24 shield cells, but trust me, if you can learn to master healing in the middle of combat, you will go through them quicker than you'd think. Whilst you can carry less healing items because of Lifeline's drone, don't forget them completely. There will be situations where you really need to heal up your base HP and your drone might be on cooldown. For Lifeline's ultimate, just realize that her airdrop is very obvious. Players that are hungry for kills will often just chase down Lifeline drops to find players to fight. This is especially true in the late game when things quieten down a bit. Be very careful when you place your drop because it can get you a lot of attention. It's best to drop it when your team are prepared for a fight, or drop it then get somewhere to camp safely to ensure nobody is in the area. Also, you no longer can get golden armor or backpacks inside, so if you're fully kitted, it may not even be worth dropping it if you're worried about being pushed when your team is down or low. I personally try to place my airdrop as much as possible in the early game to help my team get better armor, but once we're all kitted up, I stop picking up ultimate accelerants and stop placing it for the loot. Instead, I use it for cover in long fights. If I'm about to start a fight and I know it could last for a while, I place it down before I engage. Then I can use it as cover, and most importantly, if there's armor inside, I can use it as a quick health top up. You can just run to the drop and tap the equip button once to replenish all of your armor if it gets brought down to 0. And if you ever get armor in the drop, it's always level 3, so it means if you do get it, you're guaranteed a lot of free health points when things get tough. Whilst Lifeline can stay in fights for longer because she's able to effectively heal up in tight situations, she doesn't have any disengage, so if you're moving to Lifeline after playing somebody like Wraith or Bangalore, remember that you do not have a disengage. You should be more cautious about when you engage and ensure you have a route to escape through if things go bad. You can still be the player that leads a push, but you have to rely on base movement mechanics instead. You can check out my other videos for more details on that, I'll put them in the description. Bunny hopping and other advanced movement mechanics are very useful for Lifeline so that you can create any space possible to give yourself time to get out of fights or time to heal up. Ultimately though, you should try to always think carefully about any potential escape routes before you fight, because you'll need to rely on them instead of movement or disengage abilities. Finally, just a note on her revive speed and shield. Once again, this is louder than the normal revive, so whilst it is quicker, players seem to be more likely to push you when you use it. That's been my experience at least, so make sure you are prepared for it and listen very carefully for footsteps. If you hear somebody approaching, you can always stop the revive. Lifeline's revive shield can also be used in a tricky situation to provide some cover. We all know that backing up against the wall is the best way to provide the best cover in close quarters, but it can also be used as a shield in longer ranges. If you have two downed teammates, for example, one can hide behind the shield whilst the other gets revived, then the other can use your shield to heal up once you revive the second person. People always complain about Wraith for having such a small hitbox, but Lifeline is very close in size to Wraith. Although Lifeline may not have such ridiculous animations, you still get that extra benefit of being hard to hit, so make sure you strafe as much as possible in fights. I want to provide some more detailed examples of how you can put the quick healing to action next. I want you all to see why I think it's the most powerful feature that Lifeline has available. I'll do overviews of some of my recent fights to show you how you can use it to your advantage too. First, let me quickly summarize what I've covered so far. 1. Learn how to med quickly in the middle of combat. 2. Always carry shield cells, like lots of them. 3. You shouldn't use your drone if you are worried about players pushing you. It's faster to use meds. 4. You can run with the drone if you line yourself up correctly. 5. You should still carry some syringes or medkits even with the drone available. 6. Be careful about when you place the drop, especially in the late game. 7. Use the drop as portable cover and a potential spot to quickly grab armor to regain some health in the middle of combat. 8. Be more cautious before you engage. You can still lead fights, but you must think about potential escape routes first. You don't have any mobility or disengage abilities. 9. Lifeline has a small hitbox, so make the most of it by strafing. Okay, now it's time to share some more detailed explanations on how to use Lifeline's healing passive effectively. So the first thing I do before engaging is double check my shield cells are in the quick med slot. Next, I have a look at the area and think of any potential escapes I can use. In my opinion, the best escapes always involve climbing up. You'll see why in a minute. At this point, I'm ready to engage. I've spotted a good method to escape and I'm ready to heal if needed. Now, this player had level 3 armor, so I chose to kill them so I could take it to regain my shields. That way I don't have to waste time or meds doing it myself. As soon as the first player is down though, I need to reposition and still heal up. I try to run with my drone, but it gets stuck. But no problem, we can still move quickly whilst healing by hopping. During this, I'm constantly thinking about a better place to re-engage. There are more players here and they know the location I was in last. I'm not just sitting still whilst healing, I'm on the move and preparing to find a new place to attack from. Now that I'm fully healed up again, I can search for the remaining players. At this point, I take a bit of damage. I could re-engage, but I'm in a great position, so I choose to heal. This way, I'm ensuring I have as much of a health advantage as possible. They could heal up too, but they will either only be able to use a shield cell, or they won't be able to use a bigger med quick enough. In most cases though, players won't often try to heal in moments like this. Up next, here's a quick clip that showcases how easy it is to heal and keep movement. You can easily set yourself up to keep peeking no matter how much damage you take. With Lifeline, it really is possible to spam those shield cells in many situations. Here we have a clip that showcases how you can use movement to give yourself time to heal in tricky situations. Every time you use a shield cell, you're giving yourself 25 HP, and that could be just enough to help you win fights. Even if your aim goes all potato, just focus on movement so that you can re-enter the fight without any major disadvantage. There's no reason not to try using a shield cell unless the enemy is right up in your face. Take this for example, I just lost that fight, but I'm healing back up most of the damage dealt to me before re-peeking. My potato aim almost got me killed here, but I was still able to slip out and heal up as much as possible before entering the fight again. Obviously, the enemy's aim here wasn't great, but if I didn't take the time to escape and heal up, I would have died. I'm running circles around them to buy myself enough time, and it ended up working out. I imagine they were quite confused. I had level 1 armor and they dealt over 200 damage to me, yet I was still standing. To further explain it in action, here's my thought process on this 2v1. So I hear footsteps near me. I immediately want to get up on a building to create some space between me and them. That way, if I get shot at, I have time to heal up whilst they try to climb up to push me, or I can jump down to escape instead. I place down my ultimate so that I can potentially get some free armor if things get really dangerous. Next, because there's more than one, I want to try and bring their health down before I fully engage. They both have level 3 armor, and that's a massive health advantage over me, so I need to force these short and snappy engagements. Eventually, I deal enough damage to one player, so I push down to finish him. Take note here that I try to heal up even though the next enemy player is right there with me. If she pushed me, I could just cancel the heal. If not, I gain 25 extra HP. It's all about creating health advantages in fights so that you can win prolonged 1v2s or 1v3s. Whilst I didn't need to use them here, I had a number of crutches I had set up. I had my airdrop to give me health, I had the ability to heal up on the roof if they did a lot of damage, and I had the ability to quickly drop down and get behind cover to heal up before they push after me too. So to master Lifeline, you must combine movement with her increased healing speed to give yourself the opportunity to heal up right in the middle of combat. You can survive for longer, help deal more damage, and be a consistent threat for long fights. To me, Lifeline is the ultimate legend for those that want the upper hand in 1v3s or 2v3s. Master her skills alongside the base movement mechanics and you're truly onto a winning formula. Alright, that's it. That's my top tips for how to master Lifeline. I hope that the information I've shared here has been useful in some way. If you've made it this far, I have just one question for you. How does Lifeline compare to your main legend? What would you change about her if you could change one thing? Let me know. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio!